everyone, I'm Liz Eggleston and I run Course Report, which is a resource for choosing the right boot camp for you. If you haven't used Course Report yet, this is my one shameless plug. I do it in all of our interviews. We have over 20,000 alumni reviews, Q&As with alumni, bootcamp instructors, ton of research and videos like this one where we dive into a technical skill that you'll learn at a bootcamp. And today I'm really lucky to be joined by Craig Fryar, who is a distinguished faculty member at General Assembly. He teaches the Intro to Data Analytics workshop at General Assembly, which you can actually take for free right now in June during Free Fridays. And Craig also has so much experience working with data. He's led teams at Tableau, Electronic Arts. He's been a thought leader in data for over 10 years. It would actually take 15 minutes just to tell you how much experience Craig has in data, but I'd rather use that time learning from him. So we're so lucky to have Craig here giving us a 15-minute intro to data visualization. Thanks so much for being here, Craig.
Well, thanks very much, Liz. That's a very kind introduction, and I'm glad to be here today. So thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this video, just an FYI, we will publish a full transcript of this video on our blog. So let's dive right in. So Craig, first of all, tell us about your background a little bit. How did you get into tech, and specifically, how did you start in data analytics?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll share a screen in just a second, a little bit of my bio, but I actually started out as a data engineer. I was on a team that developed the first database for the Macintosh platform and ended up joining Apple Computer as a result. Fast forward, I actually helped to co-develop the first 3D multiplayer online computer video game called Spectre, and that I launched the Mac gaming market for Apple. So fast forward then, about 12 years ago, I was asked by Electronic Arts to come and help build their data stack in support of gaming. So it's been a really fun career combination of data analytics and video gaming. It's like the dream career. So I, for the last 3.5 years, have been involved with General Assembly as a subject matter expert in data analytics, and particularly Tableau. I've been developing courseware. I'm on their product advisory board, and earlier this year was recognized as part of their distinguished faculty program. So I'm a gamer. I'm an advanced PADI diver for over 30 years. If people want to connect with me on LinkedIn, they're welcome to do that. And we have a company called Data Divers, and that's my scuba diving photo. If we're not talking about our next diving trip, then we're teaching data. So that's basically what I've been doing over the past few years.
Amazing, really combining those passions. So data visualization is a relatively new concept. Could you give us just a high-level overview and tell us why data visualization is important in this moment? Why is everyone talking about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And EMC did a study a few years ago that shows that 95% of all data that's collected today goes unanalyzed. And so there's a huge opportunity. I'm often asked by people, have I missed the boat on this whole revolution of data? I'm saying we're right at the front end of it. In fact, Gartner Research, one of my favorite thought leaders and think tanks, they said by the end of this year, there'll be 5 million jobs in data analytics, data science, and data engineering in the world, only 2.5 million people to fill them. So now is a great time to be getting involved in this role and understanding the nature of data analytics. So taking data, making it visual so people can take advantage of it. It's the difference between looking at rows and rows and rows on a spreadsheet versus seeing one chart or graphic that gives you that aha moment. And that's the power of data visualization and data and visual analytics.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It seems like for the last 10 or 15 years, everyone's just been saying, collect data. What are you doing if you're not collecting data? But now we got to figure out a way to use it. So what kinds of jobs use data visualization? Is this just for folks who are working directly in tech?
Yeah, the cool thing is that the new tools that are out there, and I'm going to be showing you one of them in just a moment, are built so that the non-technical user, the business line user, or someone in a functional unit can very easily access the power of data analytics and visual analysis and put it to work in answering the questions that they may have. So use cases range from my favorite, product analytics, and that is, are products being used as designed, to HR and people analytics. Is the next hire going to be a good fit? How can I know that objectively? To things like marketing analytics. How do I optimize my ad spend to maximize the lift on the next campaign? So those are all really key types of roles. And here's the great point. Here's the great news. You don't have to be an analyst to ask these analytical questions. And so all the time we have people come that are managers and leaders who just want to learn more about this to lead their teams well and take most advantage of the resources that they have.
Yeah, I feel like one of the coolest applications I've seen of data visualization over the last few years has been in journalism, just seeing visualization used to explain a topic that would otherwise be used or explained with words has been really enlightening as a reader. So, okay, so let's dive in. You mentioned Gartner before, and Gartner has these 4 V's of data visualization. So can you tell us about what those 4 V's are?
Yes, the really, again, incredible opportunity we have is because of these 4 V's of big data that Gartner defined a few years ago. It's volume, and I talked about that. Also, the variety of data that's coming from different sources, the velocity at which it's coming to us. You've heard of the Internet of Things. Even your car is more computer than it is machine these days, spitting out tons of data, even appliances these days, and not to mention Alexa and Google Home and all the other things, tons and variety of data, from structured data to graphic data to visual, video, sound. All these are data elements. And then veracity of data, which is something that people may or may not be familiar with. Veracity is the truthiness or the trustworthiness of the data. Is it accurate and reliable? So these are the things that an analyst looks at, is all these 4 V's, and how do they pull this together into analysis that answers key stakeholder questions and moves the needle, either by increasing revenue, decreasing cost, increasing competitive advantages, decreasing risk, things like that. So those are how the 4 V's are applied every day in an analyst's job.
And what kinds of tools do you use for data visualization? I know we're going to dive into one of those specifically, but what kinds of tools would you expect?
It's a great question. And let me tell you, there's literally hundreds of tools out there, and it can be overwhelming. So what we've done is we've studied the market leaders in developing the course for data and analytics, and we've put it into 3 buckets. The first is spreadsheets, which we call an analytics scratch pad. They're great for rapid prototyping, cleaning data, and the like. You can do pivot tables, you can do graphs, and so forth. They're not production-ready databases. They don't have the rigors to be a full small, medium business or even enterprise data set, but they're good for first cut at things. The second area that we look at is data querying, which you get into the bigger data sets. So the theoretical limit of, say, Excel is 1 million rows. Well, if you want to get above that, use another tool called structured query language, or SQL. And that's where you can look at millions and millions, tens of hundreds of millions of rows, query them with a very human-readable language, and get the results in milliseconds. And then you bring that data into a data visualization exploration tool like Tableau. And so these are the market leaders that we are teaching in this course, and our goal is to help you develop a portfolio of work through the projects and the capstone so that you are market ready and you can go out and land one of these jobs that I mentioned earlier, this 5 million jobs that are in the marketplace with so many vacancies that are waiting to be filled. So we're going to take a look at Tableau as one of the tools today. And in fact, interestingly enough, we're actually in Tableau right now. I'm using something called story points in Tableau. And back to your point, Liz, about journalism and data journalism, Tableau developed this Tableau story point after talking to a number of the visual journal publications out there that love to do data journalism, and they created these story points. So these are actually slides, but you can put interactive visualizations, graphs, charts, and dashboards in story points as well. And so unlike PowerPoint, it's not just static, it's actually interactive. So let me pop out here, and you'll see I'm actually in Tableau right now. These are a number of visualizations I prepared for our brief demo time today. And I'll just turn on all the status bars. But this was actually a story that I created for our time today in Tableau. So funny enough.
Cool, very versatile. Okay, so then can you show us what you're talking about? Like, show us what the data visualization process actually looks like.
Yeah, so briefly, the first thing you do when you work on data is you connect to the data. And the really cool thing about Tableau, and the reason that over 50% of Fortune 1000 use it as their primary go-to tool for data analytics, is because of the democratization of data access that they bring to the table. Your viewers can scan real quickly, and maybe they'll see a database here that they're familiar with. MySQL, MongoDB, Postgres is real popular. That's where we teach the SQL lessons from as well. So there's a lot of data access. And the cool thing about this is it's code free. All you have to do is know the credentials to get into your database that's been provided by your company, your data engineering or data warehouse team, and boom, you're in there. They have all these engineers at Tableau that write the drivers to make this possible. You can also attach to very popular file formats, Excel, CSV, comma separated value text files, PDF files even, and that's the way that you can access this data. They have a couple of sample data sets as well, and I've connected to one already called Superstore. And so in the data source, you can actually see the data that we have here. This is the sample Superstore. It's 10,000 records of an orders database. And what I've done in the dashboard is created a quick data detective exploration, which we're going to do in the next 2 to 3 minutes, using this Superstore data set. So these are actually images that are pulled into Tableau from PowerPoint, saved as a static PNG file so that we can use them for reference. And then we'll actually jump in and look at this data. So would you like for me to take you through a data detective exercise?
That would be awesome. I would love to see it.
So as a detective, as a journalist, you often ask the questions, who, what, when, where, why, how. All right, so that's the power of doing the same kind of role as a data analyst. And so what I'm looking at here, and as I talk to data analysts and train them and develop them in their career path, I always start by saying, hey, show me the context. What are we looking at? So this is the interface of Tableau. It's code free. It's all drag and drop, all right? You can write some calculated fields. It feels like Excel formulas, but there's no programming here that's required. Tableau is very, very elegant in that regard. You have the visualization pane. I've already put a couple of elements in here. These are called measures. These are numeric types of information that are down here in the measures area. And then these are the dimensions. And you use dimensions to slice and dice the measures. That's the way we think about it in terms of data exploration. So I've got the scatter plot here of sales and profit for my overall data set. You see, it's not very interesting right now. I've got one plot for my scatter plot that says overall the profit and the sales. But if I want to slice and dice them, I could grab maybe the customer name and drag that into the detail. These are called marks cards. And what the detail does is it allows me to slice and dice that data. And so suddenly now I see all this information. Maybe I want to look at this by coloring the profit. And so now I'm looking at the profitability of all these customers. It's got built-in tooltips, so I can hover over and see the Tamara is my most profitable, highest sales, and my other outlier here is Cindy Stewart. And so there's different ways that I can work with my data to make it completely beautiful and elegant to work with as I try to communicate the answers to my stakeholder questions. So the prompt here that I put in place was who are our most profitable customers by segment and region. Let's just take a look at it by region. So I'm going to add this as a filter over here on the side, and then I can actually look at this by regions. And again, I'm not doing any programming. I'm just simply dragging and dropping. So that's the first question. The second one is what? What products are they purchasing and how many? So what I did is I took the number of records and then the subcategory of the products and drug them into the pane here. And I'll show you how that works. I'll just drag this back out. I can see all my overall number of records. There's 9,994 records in this database. And if I drag the subcategory to rows, it then shows me what these look like if I want to consort them. And again, if I want to take a look and say how many are being bought, I can put quantity on the label. So now I see how many are bought. And if I want to see the type of customers, I can look at the segment. I'll drag that to color, and suddenly I can see the number of products bought by each of my customer segments, corporate, consumer, and home office. So again, very elegant without any programming. Third thing, quickly, is I want to show a map, a visualization. This is super fun. Watch. I'm just going to double click on state. Tableau understands geographies very, very cleanly. And so it pops up a state map. And then if I drag profit to color, suddenly I can see all of the profitability by state with just a couple of clicks. All right. And so finally, as we're asking the data detective journalist questions, how do all these pop in together? So I pulled these in here earlier. If I want to put in the what, I can drag this to this side, and suddenly I have all these three together. With one click in each, I can connect them together, and each of these use the other as filters. So if I click on Texas, or I'm zooming in from, suddenly all these filter by Texas. Or what state are you calling from or zooming in from? Where are you based?
New York.
New York.
We're
So if I
York.
come up here to New York and click on that, then I can see the customers in New York, the products being bought in New York, or I can select regions. and the like. So that's how this works. Again, in 5 minutes, I built several visits, put them together as a dashboard, and saw how they work together.
I mean, I talk to so many boot campers who start with Excel and realize that they like using Excel. And then their next step was to go straight into learning how to code. But it's really cool to see that you don't necessarily have to become a full-on software engineer to use Tableau and, get a job working in data or just start contributing to your team's bottom line. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, let me give you one more tip that's really powerful. And this is the power of the data analyst. And it's a brand new feature in Tableau as well. It's called Explain Data. So you may be wondering, like, what's happening out here with Sean? And instead of trying to go back into the data, there's a new feature, it's machine learning. And if I select Sean and I go to this icon, Explain Data, it's going to actually create an analysis that explains to me what's going on with Sean and why this is an outlier. It shows that my average profit is really down and it's a single extreme value, but then I can actually see what's happening. It annotates it for me and answers the question of the why behind the what. So it's a very powerful new component of machine learning and intelligence built into products like Tableau. And we're going to see a lot more of this, that last 3 feet of value, as the data is explored and explained by the tool itself.
So Craig, what are your favorite resources for beginners who are just starting to get into data visualization? Where should they start?
A couple of my favorite resources for data visualization and data analysis. One is called data.world. It's one of the leading data catalogs and collaboration tools. They work very cleanly with Tableau. Over 400,000 data sources that you can freely access and work on to understand what it is you're trying to do in a certain type of a question or stakeholder question. And let me tell you, that's one of the biggest challenges for analysts these days is, where do I find the data? So data.world is really great at that. The final resource is a gentleman named Ryan Sleeper. Ryan is one of a few certified Tableau Zen Masters. They're the top certification of Tableau training that you can receive in the world. And he puts out a free weekly newsletter that I really love that talks you through. You can subscribe for free. And he gives you Tableau tips every week on how to make best use. And it uses that sample superstore that we were just looking at as well. So those are great resources that are available to you.
And can anyone just start using Tableau, or is there like a free version?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me just create a dashboard and I'll show you by way of answer. Since we're already here, I'm going to drag a web object into a dashboard and I'm going to type in here Tableau Public. Actually, let's go to Google because I want to make sure that I get this right. Tableau Public. Tableau Public is where you go to download a free, fully functional version of Tableau. And there's no obligation. You just download the app. You can do it for Mac or for Windows. And then the awesome thing is if you go to the Tableau gallery, you can see daily inspiration of what other data analysts have built. And talk about data journalism again, just some incredible things that can inspire you. Many of these you can download, deconstruct, reconstruct, and learn from. So Tableau Public is the place to go to get this incredible tool for free that you can use for private purposes. And yeah, it's tremendous resource.
Cool. All right. Well, we can wrap up, but do you have any advice for complete beginners, someone who is thinking, I want to work with data. I know that this is an in-demand job, but don't quite know where to start?
Yeah, I typically talk to people that fall into one of two buckets. One is it's brand new, they want to see and explore. The other is they want to upskill and get better at what they're currently doing, the skills they do have. So if this is brand new and you're pivoting into it, I would invite you to one of the free Intro to Data Analytics webinars. I actually take you through a hands-on understanding of creating basic analysis in a spreadsheet. And the other thing that is offered is a one-day Tableau boot camp. So if you like what you saw in Tableau, there are one-day, 6-hour boot camps that are available. You can go to the General Assembly website, look for these Intro to Tableau boot camps, and I teach these on occasion as well. So there's a couple of on-ramps that can help you understand if this is for you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Craig, for joining us and explaining data visualization. And thank you for tuning in. You can register for more Free Fridays on General Assembly's website, and we're going to post the registration link along with a full transcript of this video on the Course Report blog. And if you have questions about where to go next in data visualization or another technical topic that you'd like explained by an expert in the bootcamp community, let us know in the comments. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.